so now we're going to do question and answer. Didn't mention in the last thing, your homework for this time is to go to that website and download KiCad, okay? And there are tutorials available for KiCad if you want to get going, get started there. If you want to use Eagle, I'm completely fine with that. I just can't help you with the small details of Eagle, okay? I just want to be clear on that. I would like somebody to take an existing Eagle design and let's go through the process of importing it into KiCad and working on it with KiCad, okay? So that's the homework. So questions now?
So the stencil, does that not get produced when you order the PCB as well?
You can order stencils from your manufacturer. Seed Studios currently charges about $70 for a stencil, which really isn't that bad when you think about it, but there are others that charge less. The vendor that I use will give me quite a bit of stencil for about $35.
So does KiCad throw out a
Yes, yes, yes. It's called the paste. Eagle calls it the cream layer, and almost everybody else calls it the paste layer. Okay, and yes, you spit it out. And
well, why is that so much more expensive than the actual PCB? It's the same fabric.
It's more like, why do PCBs get so cheap? And I can't answer that. It's just they did. Okay, and I'm expecting the low-cost stencils to be almost free eventually. Okay, so as I said, I'm kind of hoping that in the next month or so we'll be able to manufacture our own stencils.
Why do they have to use something so expensive as Kapton?
Yeah, that's just his shtick. I mean, you know.
I mean, they don't need any temperature, dielectric, any of the properties of
He
Kapton.
just, you know, that's what he does. Okay, so you know, part of it is getting it thin. Okay, you want your stencils to be about 3/1000ths of an inch thick, and a Mylar is usually about 4/1000ths, which you can work with. There's some versions of Mylar that's 5/6000ths. That's a little too thick. So part of it is he wants to get the 2.5 thou thickness, which is about right for this stuff. But you know, I'm perfectly happy with the thin Mylar.
And how many boards does the stencil make?
I put 4 or 5 boards together, and you know, you don't have to use the entire stencil. You have to use the part that you want. So I will tend to make one stencil for a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter board, and then just use the parts that I need.
It doesn't wear out, though.
We won't wear it out. You know, the Kapton will last for like 100, 150 applications. I don't have the patience to do that. Okay, the Mylar will probably wear out a little quicker than that. It's probably only good for 20 or 30. Again, I've never gotten there. Okay, because you're usually making more mistakes that you want to get fixed, and you want to do a quick turn and go with. Yes.
What are the common mistakes? It seems to be very common to make mistakes. I mean,
Just mistakes. I mean, you know, you make your own footprint and you get the pins reversed. Happens. Okay. You forget to put a pull-up resistor someplace. Okay. You hook the wrong pin to the wrong pin on the chip. Okay. It's one of those things. Back in the old days, you used to have your schematic and your printed circuit board layout done separately, and you would lay out the board thinking you properly followed the schematic, and you just got the pins wrong.
Right, don't anymore.
You don't do that anymore, but the schematic can be wrong too, and then you will correctly lay out the board to the incorrect schematic, which is the way it's done now. And then you want to add features. So you want to think of, there's bugs and then there's feature additions. So that's kind of the way it is. It's almost like software, but with a little bit longer development loop. Okay. And if you want quick turns, you can get 24-hour turn printed circuit boards. There's people that will do that. I'm not that. That's expensive. I've never done that. Okay. More questions? Okay. Well, why don't we call that a wrap?